Turn to me and have mercy, for I am alone and in deep distress.
My problems go from bad to worse. Oh, save me from them all. Welcome back to our channel, or if it's your first time joining us, welcome. We thank you for watching and joining us on this journey.
We hope that what you've heard so far has been encouraging. We hope that by us sharing our stories that you are inspired to share your own story and to be encouraged and know that you're not alone in your struggle. You're not alone in what you've been through, and we are here for you if you need us.
Yes, and because in the journey, we know that we often feel alone, even from speaking to other women who have been in our situation, even if it's not the exact same thing. The consensus has been that we feel alone in our journey, as if no one else is going through this, as if no one else understands what we have to face as we endure whatever the issue is, whether it's child loss or infertility or barrenness. It's one of the things that is prevalent throughout everyone's story, that we feel that we are the only ones going through. And so we're going to discuss loneliness.
Because we've all experienced loneliness during whatever way your story looks, whatever your battle or journey you're on. We know that loneliness hits every one of us at some part of our journey. And at that time, we almost feel like we are in a dark corner, unable to see your hand even before you. It's just dark, it's gloomy, and you're just surrounded by the deafening silence. And you're wondering, is there a way out of this? Why can't anyone hear me? Why is there no one who understands what I'm going through? Where is my solace, God?
Yes.
And you just cry because there's nothing left to do but just to give in to that sorrow and give in to that grief and, believe the enemy when they tell you that there is no recourse and that there is no light at the end of the tunnel and that your God has forsaken you. But we know differently.
Yes. And that's exactly as after I lost my daughter, I fell into this pit of depression and despair where I felt as if no one understood. I didn't know anyone who went through anything like what I had gone through. I've heard of some people who may have had miscarriages, but I didn't know anyone in my circle of friends and didn't know anyone how they got through that sort of feeling. And so in that, I was just like, no one understands. Of course I had my husband who was grieving as well because we both lost. But in the time, it was still, because as women, as the carriers, it's a different feeling. It's a different type of pain. Even if it's, physically, mentally, emotionally, it's just a completely different type of pain. And it just seems as if no one really understood. They would ask, how are you doing? Or, whatever it is that they would try to do to encourage you, but just not knowing who to turn to. Like, I want to talk to somebody, but nobody knows. Who can I talk to? How can they even console me? Because they haven't been through it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so I know that is something that a lot of us deal with.
Yes, definitely. I know that when struggling with infertility, I felt completely alone. Even in my marriage, I felt that even my own mother didn't understand because she had 2 kids. So it was hard to find someone that I could relate to. And even in the realm of infertility, everyone's infertility journey looks different. So, you may be experiencing infertility because of, surgery or because of, whatever the case may be, so everyone's situation looks different and everyone's outcome looks different. So it's easy to feel alone in that because you feel like no one really can't relate, especially with you. Everyone's loss is different. Mm-hmm. So even if you did, you went through your loss, another woman, although the loss of a child is something you have in common, the circumstances around that, exactly, are different. Exactly. So just like you're like, well, even though we both lost a child, you can't really relate to my experience, you know, and vice versa. You may not be able to relate to her experience.
Right.
But that's the wonder of, you know, this brand that we have, is that even though we all have different experiences, we all share in the sameness of there is a struggle. There is a collective struggle, and we recognize that every woman has a battle, however different it may be. And every woman experiences that isolation that comes with child loss, that comes with infertility. Because for me, I mean, going through those shots and, you know, having, you know, my mother watch me take the shot, having my husband watch me take the shot. They can watch me take it, but they don't know what it's doing to me physically, mentally, emotionally. Each time I was breaking down, especially when it would fail, especially when it didn't work out, because then I'm feeling, is there something wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Is it my body? Is it my, you know, what is it? You know, and so you start to blame yourself and you start to internalize everything, and that isolates you even more, because then you build this whole, you know, wall and cocoon of loneliness and despair. And sometimes we do it to ourselves, because then we end up pushing everyone else away.
Right. Yeah.
And we invite no one else in.
Yeah. And it seems easier sometimes, because if you know that you, like, this person hasn't been through what I've been through, and so I can't really talk to them about it, they won't understand. So it seems easier at the time to just not talk about it. But in the long run, it is more hurtful, and, you know, a lot more dangerous to internalize everything and keep it, you know, within you and just suffer alone, because then you fall even deeper into this pit of despair. And I found myself falling deeper and deeper and deeper, to the point that I couldn't stop crying. Even, you know, I tried to pick myself up. I said, you know, I'm going back to work. I'm going to continue on with my life, you know, this is my new normal. And so I'm going to make the best of that, and I'm going to continue, and I'm going to, you know, try to be strong. But then one day I found myself just completely breaking down at work, and I just could not stop crying.